Hello, today I will start your lecture 4 on your course on kinetics and theory of machines. Today I will discuss about the Grasshopp's criterion for chains. In today's lecture I will discuss about mainly three things. One is about what is a crank. Secondly, about the Grasshopp's criterion for 4R chains and about inversions and assembly modes. So let us start with today's lesson. So if a 4R kinematic chain is to be rotated continuously by a motor, then we need the complete rotatability of a particular link. Among the 4 links, we require one link to be rotate completely. So this is the figure of a 4R kinematic chain. Okay, where I have shown the input, this link. So this link will be able to rotate continuously about this joint. Okay, so the link will be able to rotate continuously. Will be able to rotate completely about this point. This is what we require. So see over here, I have drawn, this is the figure of a windshield wiper mechanism, which is a very common application of the complete rotatability of a link. See over here the diagram. So over here this link, as you can see, is able to rotate completely about this point. This link is able to completely rotate about this point because here it is attached to a motor. This link is connected to a motor, and this wiper you can see over here. This wiper can oscillate. This wiper can oscillate. Okay, so this is an example of a 4R kinematic chain. You can see over here. This is an example of a 4R kinematic chain where this is the crank. This is the crank. So it is the link. Crank is the link which can rotate completely. Which will have complete rotatability about a point. So this is an example of a crank. This is the crank. We will see another example. Okay, this is an example of a diagram of a box loader mechanism. As you can see, it is used to push boxes into the conveyor belt over here. So this is the link. This is the link which is connected to the rotary motor, and this link, this BC, this link is able to rotate completely. So in this chain, in this 4R chain, ABCO, this 4-bar chain, this link is able to rotate continuously. So this is the crank. Now let us look at the example of a 3R1P kinematic chain. As you can see over here, this is an example of a 3R1P kinematic chain. So this is a quick return mechanism which uses 3R1P mechanism. 3R1P mechanism. So we have one, this is one R, this is one R, this is another R, and this is P. So here this link, okay, this one is able to rotate completely. This link is able to rotate completely. So this is the crank. Okay, so we'll summarize the conditions for the complete rotatability of a link. So the mechanism should be such that the link to which this motor is attached, the link to which the power motor is attached, it can rotate completely, and this link which can rotate completely is known as the crank. Now we'll study that the criteria which determines that whether there is a crank in a 4R kinematic chain. So the criteria which determines that whether there is a crank in the kinematic chain which can rotate completely, this is known as the Grasshopp's criterion. Now we'll discuss about the Grasshopp's criterion. So now we'll start with the Grasshopp's criterion for a 4R chain. So here, as you can see, I have drawn a 4R chain, and I have also marked the links. So this is the smallest link which I have marked as L mean. The other link, the largest link, which is marked as L max, and there are other two links which you can see I have marked as P and Q. These are the intermediate links which are of intermediate length between L min and L max. So here, as I have shown, according to the Grasshopp's criterion, L min plus L max is less than equal to P plus Q. That means the sum of the length of the longest and the smallest link must be less than or equal to the sum of the length of the intermediate links. If this criteria is fulfilled, then the shortest link can rotate completely with respect to all the other links. So this is the Grasshopp's criterion. You can see over here the definition that according to the Grossop's law, for a 4-bar mechanism, the sum of the shortest and longest link lengths should not be greater than the sum of the remaining link lengths. If there is to be continuous relative motion between the two links. So this is what I have shown earlier. So if a kinematic chain, it satisfies this criterion, that is one link can rotate completely about the other links, then we can say that this kinematic chain is a Grossop's 4R chain. Okay, so this is a Grossop's chain. Now, so if one link can rotate with respect to another link, then it can also rotate with respect to the all other links. So in a 4R Grossop's chain, as you can see, the shortest link rotates with respect to all the other links, and all the other links rock with respect to each other. So this link with respect to this link, they rock with respect to each other. Okay, so this is we have studied the 4R chain, Grossop's 4R chain. Now we'll also discuss something about the inversions of the 4R Grossop's chain. So what is an inversion? The inversions are the various possibilities depending on the choice around the link. So various types of common chains we can get depending upon which link we consider as the fixed link. So now we'll see the inversions of 4R Grossop. Okay. So these are you can see the two Grossop's chain diagram, the two different combinations which I have drawn over here. This is the same Grossop's chain which I have shown over here. So here you can see I have drawn over here the 4R linkage, and this is the L min, the smallest link. This link I have drawn over here in front of the kinetic chain, you can see. So one of the links is fixed. This link is fixed. You can represent it by here. So this link is fixed, and this is the L min. So this link which can rotate continuously, completely about this so this link is known as the crank. So instead of this link, now if I fix this link which I have shown you over here, basically this is nothing, we have fixed the links, we have fixed the larger link in this case. So we get another type of mechanism, you see over here. This is represented by this diagram. So here this is the crank or the L min which can rotate completely, and the other links That means this link and this link, or this and this link, will only rock with respect to each other. So one link will rotate, this known as the crank, and the other links will only rock. So this mechanism is known as the crank rocker mechanism. So this is the crank rocker mechanism. Is that clear? So as you can see here, this is the crank rocker mechanism. So this is the animated video of the crank rocker mechanism. Over here you can see the smallest link, that is a red color link which can rotate completely, is the crank, and the other one, that is the green one, the yellow one, these are simply rocker. Okay, they can rock. So there are some criteria for the crank rocker mechanism. One of them is that this rocker, suppose this one, it cannot cross the line of frame. Okay, so when it rotates, as I have shown you earlier in the video, if this when this link rocks, it cannot cross the line of frame. What is the line of frame? This is the line of frame. When this link rotates, this line cannot cross this line of frame. Okay. Now in the case of another inversion, we will fix the shortest link. Okay. So I will redraw the mechanism over here. So I will fix the shortest link. So the mechanism will look like this, and the fixed link is the L min. You can see this is the L min. Now that the L min can rotate completely with respect to the other links, so the vice versa also happens, that the other links will also completely rotate with respect to L min. So L min rotates completely with respect to other links. Now if we fix L min, the other links will rotate completely with respect to L min. So all the other links will rotate completely with respect to the ground link. So this mechanism is known as the Grasoff's double crank mechanism. So this link can rotate continuously. Also this link can rotate continuously, completely. Sorry, this link can also rotate completely. This link can also rotate. So this mechanism is known as the double crank mechanism. So you can see over here the double crank mechanism. Okay, so this is an animated of a double crank mechanism. So you can see that all the links can rotate completely this yellow link which can rotate completely, and also the red link which can rotate completely. So these are the two cranks, and the shortest link is fixed, that is the green link. There you can see. So this is a double crank mechanism where all the links can. So now we will study the last inversion, that is when we fix the other intermediate links which we have not fixed. So in this chain you can see that I have fixed the other intermediate links, and here, so these two links, when we fix this intermediate link, these two links will rock with respect to one another. And this the L-min, this is the crank which this can rotate completely. This link can rotate completely, so it is known as the crank, and these two links can rock. So this mechanism is known as the Grasshopp's double rocker mechanism. And these two rockers, they will never cross the line of frame. Okay, the rockers never cross the line of frame. Okay, so this is all about the Grasshopp's double rocker mechanism. You can see. So with this I complete today's lecture. So I hope you have been able to understand the Grasshopp's criterion and the different inversions of a Grasshopp's 4R chain, and also about what is a crank, what are the conditions for a crank. So I complete today's lesson. Thank you.